Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, one of the monumental things in church history has just come out. We'll tell you who did this. Sabellian history. It's absolutely amazing. It's so good. I'm in the middle of reading it. I'm like, before anybody talks to me on the subject of oneness and the Trinity, I'm going to say, look, have you read this book? If you haven't, read that book and then come talk to me. And so let's get started. By the way, it's got a ribbon marker and a beautiful headband in there. It looks like it's actually Smith's sewn. Maybe not though. No, it's not lying flat. Let me let you see what the inside looks like here. Great large print. So where did this come from? Well, years ago, Tom Weiser gave me a copy of this in High Latin. He had tried to get it translated, could only get it 15% translated because it was a very difficult Latin. And so over the years, he got it translated, and we'll go into a little bit of that. But this is absolutely amazing. So, Sabellian history. Sabellius was a oneness believer in the 3rd century AD. This is written in 1696. It's written by an enemy of Sabellius, Cristiano Wormio, somewhat popular as a theologian. And he noticed that Sabellianism was really big in, I think it was northwestern Europe. So he's like, man, I need to write on this, 1696. So the prologue is done by Dr. Thomas Weiser. What a great, if you've never read his books, you need to read them all. They're all that good. And then preface and annotations by Reverend Eugene Dominguez. You need to get all his books too. They're that good. I've done a review on his Spanish apostolic history, out of this world, but he's got several books that are fantastic. So let's read a little bit about this. Sabellian history. The author of the theological work, Sabellian History, Cristiano Wormio, 1672 to 1737. He was a big book collector. He was born in Copenhagen, Denmark. He was a collector of ancient books and manuscripts, a theologian, and the Bishop of Zeeland, Denmark. In his day, there was an anti-Trinitarian movement in northwestern Europe. His extensive historical and scholarly work herein obtained raving reviews among his contemporaries. It was written in Latin and Greek in the late 1600s, and now for the first time is available in English. He founded in a monastery in Oregon on microfilm. This is where Tom found it, Tom Weiser. It was written in Latin and Greek. The narrative is upon the theologian Sabellius of Libya, Africa in the 200s, and Sabellian theologians, bishops, and kings of the first 5 centuries. The scholar be incited to mine the archives of these Sabellians that heretofore have been mostly unknown to oneness historians. That's written by Reverend Eugene Dominguez. He's a wonderful man, missionary to Central South America. Dennis Garza, Faith Tabernacle, curator of the ecclesiasticalresearches.com, which I've done a review on that website. That's a great, great website. Abraham Ruiz, Master Education, Aziz Pacific U, historian, Apostolic Assembly, Fontana, California. And then Kuwat Singh Bora, what a incredible guy he is. Larry Booker writes a deal written in a High Latin, finally into the English. We thank God for it. Of course, Brother Booker is one of the great preachers of our time. So, what this is, I think I've done a review on this. Let me just read this. Even as late as 1873, we find a scholar citing this work by Wormio in the Creeds of Athanasius, Sabellius, and Swedenborg, examined and compared with each other by the Reverend Augustus Cleisold, M.A. of London. He, Wormio, passed away and was buried in 1737 at the Church of Our Lady, where he had served. It appears his tomb was later destroyed in a fire. So here's the amazing thing. Is Sabellianism, oneness, is far more prevalent than people ever realized. Even Jerome, I've done a video many years ago on a statement by Jerome, and they go into it at length in here, that it even has some oneness overtones. Pope Damasus, who resided kind of over the Second Council of Nicaea, has some oneness overtones. One of the decrees of the Second Council of Nicaea has some oneness overtones. They were singing hymns they were taking Trinitarian words out, putting oneness words in. Armenia was a hotbed of this. Syria was a hotbed of this. Of course, Spain, massive hotbed of this. Maybe the majority. Robert Robinson shows us this. Priscillian shows us this. Really one of the first martyrs after the Second Council of Nicaea there at Trier, the third city in the Roman Empire in the 390 era. He's quoting 1 John 5:7 as a oneness verse there, by the way. Incredible book. You just got to get it. However you've got to get it. You've just got to get it. It's $50. It's worth 10 times that. If you have to pay $500, get the book. If you're Trinitarian, get the book. You won't know. You'll be mumbling in the dark if you don't have this book, because you won't know what you're talking about in certain areas. Oneness has always been the belief of the early church. That's one thing. Wormio, he was so shocked. He's like, well, there was a lot of quasi-oneness floating around. Yes, there was. So, God bless. We love you. Actually, there was a group of people called Oneites. They were basically oneness. We'll talk with you later. This is just great stuff. I may do some other teaching involved in this book when I get through with it. I'm not through with it. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Sterling Busby. Thank you, Brother Kilman, for alerting me to this book. Thank you, Brother Dominguez, Brother Weiser. Everybody had anything to do with this. Brother Garza, Brother Booker. God bless. We love you. Bye-bye.